Hello everyone. Today we are going to be going over a short PowerPoint relating to vaping, and this is for you to know the risks associated to using e-cigarettes. So answer this question to yourself. Some e-cigarettes are safe for youth, and you'll decide what you think. It is false. Some e-cigarettes are not safe for youth. And these are the key points that we are going to be going over today. So what are e-cigarettes? What are the health risks? What leads to e-cigarette use? And what can you do about it? No matter what you call it, it's an e-cigarette. There's different terminology associated with all of these devices. So the first one are tanks and mods. These are like a pen looking thing. Rechargeable e-cigarettes, you have your Juuls, and I believe these are new. And then disposable e-cigarettes. So disposable e-cigarettes, you get a certain amount of puffs with it, and then after all the stuff is out, then you will throw it away. So as you can see, e-cigarettes come in many different shapes and sizes. E-cigarettes, they are devices that heat a liquid into an aerosol that the user inhales. And there's different chemicals that are in those liquids. So another question for you. Most e-cigarettes contain nicotine. Is that true or false? That is true. Most e-cigarettes do contain nicotine. What are the health risks? What exactly is nicotine? So nicotine is a colorless, oily, water-soluble, highly toxic liquid alkaloid, and it's found in tobacco and valued as an insecticide. When I hear the word insecticide, I know that sounds more dangerous, and insecticide is something that you use to get rid of bugs. Do you really want to be putting that into your body? Nicotine comes in different types, so a pH scale ranges from 0 to 14, and from 0 to about 6 it is considered acidic, 7 is neutral, so then 8 to 14 is alkaline. Nicotine salts, which are in Juuls, they are more acidic, and then a free base nicotine like cigarettes are on the alkaline scale. Juul contains a high amount of nicotine. So all Juul e-cigarettes have a high level of nicotine. According to a manufacturer, a single Juul pod contains as much nicotine as a pack of 20 regular cigarettes. So that is a lot. There are people who use up a whole Juul pod in a day, and that is a lot of cigarettes that you would be smoking. Another question, nicotine harms brain development. Is that true or false? That is true. Nicotine does harm brain development. For you guys, the brain does not fully develop until you are about 25 or older. So when you are smoking and you're, say, 18, the nicotine usage, if you use it so much, is just going to delay that brain development, and you'll not get to fully develop. How does nicotine in e-cigarettes impact the brain? So youth who use nicotine can harm the parts of the brain that control attention, learning, mood, and impulse control. Nicotine can definitely lead to addiction. I know some people who always have to have their vape or Juul with them. They're constantly smoking it, and they just have to have it all the time. That is not good. If you're doing something, if you're out somewhere, and all you're thinking about is smoking the Juul, smoking the vape. That kind of just distracts you from being in the moment if you're with friends or family, and you just have to have that source. And I like this picture right here. It's not like you can buy a new brain. So we want to really take care of ourselves, especially at a young age, so that we can develop fully into our full potential. There are behavior risks associated with vaping and using e-cigarettes. So youth who use e-cigarettes may be more likely to smoke regular cigarettes in the future. Just think to yourself a little bit and take in that sentence and just think to yourself, what do you think about that? So another question, e-cigarettes create a harmless water vapor. Is that true or is that false? That is false. E-cigarettes do not create a harmless water vapor. So the water vapor is harmless. E-cigarettes make aerosol, not vapor. You think it's water vapor, but the e-cigarette aerosol that users breathe from the device and exhale can contain harmful and potentially harmful substances. So let's take a look. Nicotine, volatile organic compounds, ultrafine particles that go into your lungs, flavorings such as diacetyl, a chemical linked to a serious lung disease. That does not sound like a good time. Heavy metals such as nickel, tin, and lead. Do you really want to be consuming all of that? And then cancer-causing chemicals. So if you ever see these commercials, I know I see them all the time. It's the real cost, and it's for youth e-cigarette prevention campaign. They consider this an epidemic. Youth are constantly using and experimenting with vapes. More than cigarettes now. E-cigarette poisonings, they are possible. So poisoning calls related to e-cigarettes have definitely skyrocketed. As you can see, in 2011, they were down at 271. And then all the way 2014, they are up to 3,957. We are in 2020 now, so those graphs has probably risen a bit. And let's get that. What leads to e-cigarette use? Ask yourself, what do you think leads to e-cigarette use? If you are someone or know someone who had that position in their life, so what led them to e-cigarette use? Why did they want to use? Were they curious? Did they want to try it out? Were they stressed? So a surge in e-cigarette use among youth. So there has been a 78% increase among high school students. In 2017, it was 11.7%. Now 2018, 20.8%. Think to yourself also, who uses? Who do you know that uses this? Are there a lot of people your age that you see constantly vaping or using e-cigarettes? Youth exposure to e-cigarette advertising is increasing. There are e-cigarette ads everywhere. I know when I go to 7-Eleven, they are advertising e-cigarettes, and that you can find them in 7-Eleven or any gas station. That's when they are mostly advertised. So they have reached nearly 4 in 5 U.S. middle and high school students. Walking down the street, you see Juul is sold here. You're like, I want to go buy a Juul. But you have to be of age, which is 18. Examples of e-cigarette advertising. So we have, there are Juuls. This looks like New York. And right here, right at the gas station, when you're 16, you can drive. You can go up to the pump by yourself, pump your gas. You can see that right there. Take back your freedom. What do you think that advertises? What does it mean by take back your freedom? Think to yourself about that a little bit. Another question, the tobacco industry is in the e-cigarette game. Is that true or false? Are they in the e-cigarette game? That is true. The tobacco industry is actually most definitely in the e-cigarette game. They are the same players in new products. They are just trying to manipulate you into thinking that these are the healthier version of smoking cigarettes, and that is in fact not true. One of these, just like a whole pack of these. They're showing that they're just the same thing, but in different forms. Use of flavors is prominent among youth. So, menthol, alcohol, candy, fruit, chocolate, sweets, to try to draw you in. Say you like chocolate so much and they have a chocolate jewel flavor. You are going to probably want to buy that because it's a chocolate flavor and you want to try it. But they're really just trying to get your money for that. And what can you do about it? Be tobacco free. If you or someone you know wants to quit, or you think someone needs help, there is an app right here. It's called This Is Quitting. And I'm sure you can get it on the App Store. And it will help you with quitting and taking those steps necessary. There's teen apps for you guys, Smoke Free Teen. Download Quick Start, or you can Smoke Free Text for teens from Smoke Free Teen. Ask for help. It is definitely okay to ask for help if you don't want to be doing something, and ask help from families, friends, healthcare providers, anyone you trust personally. Don't ever give up. Sometimes you can get set back, but just don't get discouraged by that. Just keep trying. And it's always important to make a quit plan. If you or someone you know has a vaping problem and wants to quit, it's important to talk to someone about steps you can take to make it a little easier for yourself to quit. Avoid secondhand exposure. Just like using cigarettes, you can also give someone secondhand smoke by vaping. And there's some pictures right here. No smoking. Visit tobacco-free locations if you are someone who doesn't want to get secondhand smoke or be in that environment. And when there are young lungs at play, like children, it's important not to ever smoke or vape around them. Help your school go tobacco-free. So, smoking is prohibited on campus. Definitely, I went to community college and they were a smokeless environment. Spread the word and get involved. Talk with your peers and community leaders about ways you can help. Educate your friends and others about the dangers of e-cigarettes that you've learned here today. If you have friends that use e-cigarettes, talk to them about quitting. It could be a sensitive subject to someone who's trying to quit, so it's always important to approach them in the nicest way possible and show you are concerned for them and not be demeaning. So those key points, we learned what are e-cigarettes, what are the health risks associated with them, what leads to e-cigarette use, and what can you do about it. Most important takeaway, the use of e-cigarettes is unsafe for kids, teens, and young adults, and basically anyone. And that is all for today. Thank you.